dignitaries on the dais, and all the participants. Thank you very much, sir, for this invitation. I think when sir summarized the whole 2 days event, all wealth of information have been said by many experts. I will just focus on the role of technology in this current context for the last decade and what is going to be for the next 2 decades. Our country, being known to be an young nation, the initiatives taken by the nation, whether it is center or state, they are highly encouraging, especially in the higher education space. One of the things is, suppose if I consider the education policy, especially if I focus just on engineering education, earlier decade there was no flexibility in the education. You are supposed to take one specialization and all as a brick and mortar system, everything is fixed. Whether you like it or not, you have to study all those subjects. But lot of flexibility has been brought into that system where students can really pursue their passion. And that foresight thought in terms of giving a lot of flexibility for students to explore and identify what is relevant for them and specialize in the area what they are interested is the biggest support that has come to our current generation higher education students. I think all of you will be knowing, I think some of the speakers also might have told, with the invention of artificial intelligence. Of course, the artificial intelligence field was there for a last for about 4 to 5 decades, people were talking about. But at the turn of this century, especially 2010 onwards, with a lot of digital data being available on the computing and high computing power being made available, these big computing servers are able to crunch these digital data and able to make sense out of that. So, as a result of that, the current generation softwares are not just softwares to just process some data in a spreadsheet that you are giving, they also make sense out of the data. So as a result of that, suppose if I take somebody comes for an engineering degree of 4 years, I cannot assure my students that no, the subjects that you are going to study by the time you complete your degree, whether they are relevant or not. That is the pace at which the disruptions are happening. So, on the other hand, what we can teach our student in the higher education space is the art of learning, unlearning and relearning. That is to say, as a part of my education system, I will give them that ability to learn any new area that is coming. And if they feel that no, it is no more relevant, they may unlearn that and pick up the new area and start working on that. So that is the ability that we have to create, and that is possible because of the flexibility that we have brought in the education policy. Earlier we used to say 100% all the subjects relevant to your specialization do. Now we say 25 to 30% is the minimum core foundation courses. After that you are free to explore your passion. Explore your passion means if somebody is interested in that specialization, they can still continue to work on that 100%. But still, if you are interested in some other discipline also, you can work. This is one thing which really is helping our higher education space, especially engineering space in the country. Otherwise, even with that flexibility, our students say, why should I come to your class? Okay, the video lectures of the best professors across the world universities are available freely. Why should I come and sit in your class? This is the question they ask. If that is the case, how as a teachers of higher education space, how to keep pace with that? One of my visitor was telling to me today, as teachers, we are not only just to cope up with that, now we should also start running with the trends that are changing. That is the pace at which the changes are happening. So now this is about to keep our career floating and growing, but you think about the next generation that we are preparing. We say ours is the young nation, and that is the wealth for us. And based on this knowledge economy, if I want make this young population to go and work throughout the world, we have to make them as global citizens. How to prepare them as global citizens? So that is where the Indian values comes into picture. So because now with the flexibility that we have given, next generation, day in and day out, when I see my students, they enter into the institute when they're entering into the adulthood, and they go out as a full adults, which to face the society. Here, at that tender age, they are ready to inculcate, easily follow the Western values. In the Western values, I don't need to tell, all of you are aware of that. So what personally, if they have to become the global citizens, they should keep the best of our nation, which is given as a knowledge system for us, for our ancient people, and take the best practices from the West in terms of economic development. How do they focus on, when you get an idea, converting that into a product and process and getting economic development out of that, they do it at the shortest possible time. In our nation, that is the best thing that we have to learn from the Western. But our Eastern value system, in terms of tenacity to work hard, and also value system that sustainability is ingrained into all of our nature of working. So that is where a blend we need to create in our education system for the next generation. What essentially, when we discuss at length, the generation we are talking about, even though he is my child, that my son may be 2 generations away from me because of the knowledge exposure he has in the society. He is not really next generation. I may be his great grandfather in terms of knowledge if I see. If that is the situation, how do we communicate with them? The time has gone where how our teachers, our parents were treating us, and now how we have to deal with the next generation. If all of us as seniors of this nation, if we don't realize that, I am fearing the dream all of us are thinking our next generation will be global citizens and our Vikasit Bharat, where the whole world, we will be on the top of the world, need to be achieved through this generation. That will happen only when we inculcate those values into them. One of the things, the tagline at least we have keep in our institute is, our goal is to develop thinkers and leaders of technology positively impacting the society. I'm not saying you should become a software engineer with that much fat package or something. That may come as if it comes, but that is not the goal of the life. For serving the nation and the whole world, they should be thinkers and leaders for the society. And another important point is, as I told, in the higher education space, earlier we were thinking from a one-dimension point of view. Now going forward, it's a multi-dimensional thinking is required. Technology has become the core part of any product or process we are thinking, irrespective of which field we are working. So as a result of that, the technology space person, he or she cannot say, I will only work on technology. They have to have knowledge of other fields, including economics, sociology, humanities, every field, agriculture. So as in all these space, technology takes the center stage. That is where the focus of the whatever the policy making, and we are creating institutions, we are giving facilities, but how do we inculcate values in the next generation through the process that we employ in our higher education institution? That is very much important. How do we do that? We need to realize the generation difference is not one generation, several generations ahead of us. As a result of that, how do I create a dialogue space with the young generation? How do we do that? And as a result of that, we should be really handing over the nation and the world well-trained and value-based individuals who can really contribute to the whole world. As per our tagline of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, our next generation also should realize that in letter and spirit, and there is a need for higher education institutions to come forward, think deeply, and contribute in that space. So these are the few points which I felt I would like to share with all of you. I think very wonderful sessions have happened, and I hope all of you enjoyed 2 days discussion. And if we want to really achieve the Vikasit Bharat, that what we are thinking, I think we are left with maybe about 2 decades, and we are not just walk, we have to run with a stability in our running. We should not fall by small issues that we are thinking. As aligned people, our goal is to take care of the next generation and train them well, hand over the world and the nation to them to take it forward. I'm sure one more point I just wanted to tell, just like flexibility that is brought in the education space, in the innovation entrepreneurship also, government is investing in a big way. And this artificial intelligence and the latest information technology has come as a blessing for us. If we want to really develop good companies going out of this nation to become the next Googles or Microsoft, that is possible now because the latest trends in the technology will enable us without much investment. As a knowledge capital, we should be able to do. Realizing this, the country is supporting in a big way. And somebody starting from higher education, second year onwards, they start giving schemes and grants. If somebody really uses them in a right spirit, I think this is the best time for them to achieve something and show it to the world. So with all these things that have been set in place for last 1 decade, I think we need to create more awareness among the community, more awareness among the next generation to really make use of all these things available. As a result of that, really we can achieve what we are supposed to achieve. I think with this I'll conclude my few words. Thank you very much, sir.